You are the newly elected Prime Minister of Arvonia, a mid-sized nation with a struggling economy. Inflation is rising, public debt is at 74% of GDP, and unemployment sits at 11%. The world is watching your first 100 days in
Track of your decision points, because you will need them at the end of the video to see the impact of your decisions on your country. Your finance minister presents the annual budget. The treasury deficit has widened to a historic high. International creditors are demanding fiscal reform, or they will downgrade Arvonia's credit rating within 60 days. How do you address the deficit crisis to prevent a credit downgrade? Choose one from these decisions. 1. Launch an austerity program. Cut public sector wages by 15% and freeze social spending for 2 years. Or introduce a progressive wealth tax on corporations and high net worth individuals to raise immediate revenue. Or negotiate a short-term emergency loan from the IMF while promising structural reform within 18 months. The wage cuts trigger a wave of public sector strikes. Teachers, nurses, and government workers walk off the job for weeks. GDP contracts by 0.8% as consumer spending collapses. The credit rating is preserved, but civil unrest rises sharply, and your approval rating drops 22 points overnight. The cure is proving as painful as the disease. The new tax generates $4.2 billion in the first year, narrowing the deficit significantly. International creditors acknowledge the fiscal effort and hold off on the downgrade. Small businesses are unaffected, and public services remain intact. Some capital flight occurs among the wealthiest investors, but the overall economic confidence improves. Arvonia buys itself critical breathing room. The IMF loan stabilizes the immediate crisis, and the downgrade is avoided, for now. However, the loan comes with conditionality clauses requiring future spending reviews. Arvonia has not solved the deficit, it has delayed the reckoning. Citizens feel reassured in the short term, but economists warn the structural problems remain entirely unaddressed.
Following the budget decision, Arvonia's central bank reports that inflation has climbed to 9.4%, the highest in 14 years. Grocery prices are up 18% year on year. Citizens are feeling the squeeze, and street protests have begun in the capital.
What is your government's response to the inflation crisis hitting ordinary families? Direct the central bank to aggressively raise interest rates by 3.5 percentage points immediately. Introduce temporary price controls on essential goods, bread, cooking oil, fuel, for 6 months. Deploy targeted cash transfers to the bottom 30% of earners, funded by a windfall tax on energy companies.
Inflation begins to slow after 3 months, but at a devastating cost. Mortgage holders see repayments jump by hundreds per month. A wave of small business closures follows as credit dries up. Unemployment rises from 11% to 14.3%. The medicine works technically, but an entire segment of the middle class is financially wiped out in the process.
Initially, headlines celebrate the policy as a victory for working families. But within weeks, supermarkets begin rationing controlled goods, and suppliers reduce production as margins disappear. Black markets emerge for fuel and cooking oil.
The intervention creates artificial shortages that hurt the poorest citizens most, exactly the group the policy was meant to protect. The transfers provide genuine short-term relief to the most vulnerable households and calm the protests. The windfall tax raises enough revenue without damaging the broader economy. However, inflation itself remains unchecked. The root monetary causes are untouched. Arvonia has cushioned the blow but has not treated the wound. Economists give cautious praise but warn time is running out. With inflation still elevated and unemployment rising from the economic turbulence, 3 major foreign companies announced they are reviewing their Arvonian operations. A leaked report suggests all 3 may relocate 14,000 jobs to neighboring countries within the year unless the investment climate improves. How do you respond to prevent the threatened mass exodus of foreign employers? Offer the 3 companies a generous 10-year tax holiday and subsidized energy rates to stay? Fast-track regulatory reform to reduce business red tape and cut corporate tax by 4% for all companies equally? Establish a government-backed jobs protection fund that subsidizes 30% of wages at at-risk employers for 18 months. The companies stay, and immediately the news is spun as a political triumph. But the tax holiday costs the Treasury $1.9 billion in foregone revenue over the decade. Domestic businesses receiving no such relief cry foul and begin lobbying for equal treatment. The policy quietly establishes a dangerous precedent that threatening to leave is the most effective negotiating tactic in Arvonia. The across-the-board reform signals Arvonia is serious about competitiveness. 2 of the 3 companies confirm they will stay and expand. The third relocates anyway, but 40 new mid-sized investors announce entry into Arvonia within 6 months, attracted by the reformed environment. GDP growth projections are revised upward. The policy costs revenue short-term but generates significantly more long-term. All 3 companies accept the wage subsidies and stay. The press conference looks like a win, but the fund, drawing from an already strained treasury, accelerates the deficit. Worse, economists later reveal the companies had exaggerated their relocation intentions. Arvonia paid billions to retain jobs that were never truly at risk. The opposition calls it the most expensive bluff in Arvonian history. Arvonia's agricultural sector is in crisis. A prolonged drought, the worst in 30 years, has destroyed 35% of the harvest. Food import costs are surging, further driving inflation, and rural unemployment is spiking. Farmers are blockading highways in protest. How does your government respond to the agricultural and food security emergency? 1. Declare a national agricultural emergency and release strategic food reserves to stabilize prices immediately. Or fast-track a $2 billion irrigation and drought resilience infrastructure investment program for rural regions. Or negotiate emergency food import deals with 3 neighboring countries at favorable rates.
The reserves calmed the immediate panic, and food prices stabilized for roughly 8 weeks. The farmer blockades ease as the government signals it is taking the crisis seriously. However, releasing reserves depletes the national stockpile to its lowest level in 2 decades, leaving Arvonia dangerously exposed if a second drought or supply shock follows. The crisis is paused, not resolved.
The investment is transformative over an 18-month horizon. Modern irrigation systems reduce drought vulnerability by 60% in the affected regions. Rural unemployment drops as construction and agricultural work expands. Initially costly, the program generates a 340% return on investment over a decade as Arvonia transitions from a food importer to a regional exporter. It becomes a textbook case of turning crisis into strategic opportunity.
Food arrives quickly, and prices stabilize within weeks. The import agreements are diplomatically smooth and cost less than domestic intervention. But Arvonia's farmers feel abandoned. They were given no support, and several thousand family farms go bankrupt during the import surge as they cannot compete with cheaper foreign produce. The crisis is managed, but a generation of agricultural capacity is quietly lost.
An international ratings agency upgrades Arvonia's economic outlook from negative to stable, citing recent reforms. However, a powerful opposition leader releases a detailed economic report showing youth unemployment has quietly risen to 28% and announces a major protest rally. Global media picks up the story.
How does your government address the youth unemployment crisis before it becomes a defining political liability? Launch a national youth employment guarantee. Every citizen under 28 is offered a government job or training placement within 90 days. Partner with the private sector to create a funded apprenticeship scheme with tax incentives for companies hiring workers aged 18 to 27. Invest heavily in free university enrollment expansion, making all public university places fully subsidized. The announcement generates enormous enthusiasm, and the rally loses momentum. But delivering on the guarantee proves catastrophically expensive. The public payroll swells with roles that produce little economic value. 2 years later, an independent audit finds that 60% of placements were in artificially created positions. Arvonia's public wage bill has become unsustainable, and the scheme is quietly wound down, leaving youth unemployment nearly where it started. Within 12 months, over 80,000 apprenticeship contracts are signed. Young Arvonians gain real skills in engineering, healthcare, technology, and trade. Companies benefit from the incentives while reducing their skills gap. Youth unemployment drops to 19% by year 2 and continues falling. The scheme becomes self-reinforcing. Businesses that trained apprentices begin hiring them permanently, reducing dependence on government funding over time. University enrollment surges 40% within a year, and the policy is wildly popular with young voters. But universities lack the capacity, and quality collapses. Lecture halls overflow, faculty resign, and graduate outcomes worsen. The policy also delays workforce entry for hundreds of thousands of young people. 5 years later, Arvonia has more graduates than ever, and the same structural unemployment, now compounded by a mismatch between graduate skills and available jobs. At the end of the game, add up all your points from the 5 questions. If your total is between 6 and 15 points, you have an excellent grade because Arvonia has come through one of the most turbulent periods in its modern history, and it has come through stronger. Your decisions tackled the deficit fairly, shielded ordinary citizens from the worst of inflation, and reformed the investment climate in ways that attracted genuine long-term growth. When the drought struck, you built resilience instead of buying time. When youth unemployment threatened a generation, you created real opportunities rather than empty promises. International creditors have upgraded Arvonia's outlook. Foreign investment is rising, and public trust in government has measurably recovered. You did not make the easy decisions, you made the right ones. And if your score is in the middle range of -4 to 5 points, you have an average grade, due to
Arvonia survived, but surviving is the most that can honestly be said. Your tenure was marked by a pattern of relieving symptoms while leaving root causes unresolved. Some decisions provided genuine short-term stability, but they were frequently followed by choices that delayed rather than solved the underlying problems. The deficit remains a concern, youth unemployment has only modestly improved, and growth is sluggish. Arvonia is not in crisis, but it is not thriving either. A quiet frustration has settled among citizens who feel that things almost got better, but not quite.
And if your score is low and negative, between -15 and -5, you have a weak grade, owning to. Arvonia is in a deep and compounding crisis, and the decisions made under your leadership bear significant responsibility. A manageable deficit was worsened by policies that prioritized appearances over substance. Austerity fractured the social contract. Misguided interventions created the very problems they were meant to fix, and billions were spent on schemes that auditors have since called fiscally reckless. Youth unemployment remains stubbornly high, the agricultural sector is weakened, and protests in the capital are growing louder. An early election is no longer a question of if, only of when.
If you enjoyed being the Minister of Economy, I'm certain you'll love being an ambitious minister tasked with reforming a collapsed educational system in a remote country. Click on this video if you want to take on this position.